Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, and a big thank you to everyone for the reaction to last week's show highlighting the plight of Tolondo Reservoir. I understand the new Water Minister Lisa Neville is seriously considering the options for the lake, and we have our fingers crossed, I can tell you. A big show coming to you tonight with all the regular segments. The variety of fishing now coming on is getting very, very exciting. Just wait until you see Catch of the Week and plenty of fishing news as well. Adam Ring, as always, great to see you. And are things hotting up on the Mornington Peninsula or what?
Yeah, thanks Dave. I won't say too much just yet. Just it's worth watching for a bit of footage later on. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Got something pretty special coming up, haven't we? Wow. And Trelly, is cod season, is that open or what? I mean, it takes up half of Catch of the Week this week.
Yeah, every man, child, dog, cat and girlfriend and wife was out.
It's been a good opening. I mean, we had our good friend Wilco on Trout on Friday night talking live from the Cod Classic, and you know, he was saying thousands of people up there. From all reports, I haven't seen all the statistics, but a lot of fish caught. Is that size rule changed? So there's a lot more fish brought in?
Well, they don't actually bring them in. They just basically take a photo of them and catches to them like that. But it's been really well accepted, the slot limit.
Yep.
It's been really well accepted, which is really good. And yeah, look, heaps and heaps of fishermen. So obviously we're going to get more reports than normal. Yeah. But lots of fish caught, you know, trolling lures, bait fishing, you know, all that type of thing. It's been great.
Yeah, yeah. It's certainly the buzz of the town, isn't it? Like, I know, don't take anything away from snapper, but
you know, it must be pretty big when it starts filtering down our way, Dave. I mean, we're out on the peninsula where no one would even know what a cod looks like yet. We're getting all these reports of, you know, the cod opening, and we're going here for the cod opening, and you know, we're just going to grab a couple of spinner baits and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. It's
I mean, we had a couple of staff from work go.
Yeah, that's right.
Cod Classic. They must let anyone in because Jared Day went. So you know, so it's
that's the struggle with numbers issue. What's happened to? We've had a little bit of a lull in the snapper.
Yeah.
So people just focus on what's going on next.
Yeah.
Cod fishing, cod opening, you know, it's like duck opening, isn't it?
Yeah. And is there a buzz, Trelly, that cod have made a comeback? Like the numbers are back and
absolutely, yeah. Look, been there for so long. When I first started 25, 27 years ago, you go and catch 10 carp and 1 cod. Well, now you catch 20 cod and you're lucky to catch a carp.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And everyone is, I guess, accustomed to seeing those photos with big guys hugging these massive cod, and there's always that bit of a, I could go and catch a metre cod today. You know what I mean? There's always that, you know, that bit of the, if I just put a bit of cheese or a scrubby or a bardy grub or something, there's every chance at these.
Are you going to bring in a bardy grub one day too, aren't you?
Oh, that's right,
You bring it in next week, eh?
Okay, I'll
do bardy. I want to say bardy grub.
Stop eating them before you bring them in.
Yeah, they taste all right.
Nothing, I wouldn't put anything past you, Shirley, seriously. But anyway, what's happened to summer, guys? Like, we had a really nice November.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's cold, but
summer started and no one told the weather.
Yeah.
It's been a bit miserable to say the least.
Yeah. Climate change.
Yeah.
I know.
It's certainly get warmer.
It's like it's stopped a few people from getting out though, hasn't it? And I think you get into that period where, you know, everyone's gone mad on snapper trying to get one, and they have been finicky right up till now. Now we've got a water temperature of 18 plus degrees, you know, getting into 19. And, you know, it won't be long before the husbands get dragged by the wives out Christmas shopping.
That's right.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, I mean, I try and only do that for 2 days of the year before Christmas, but you know what I mean?
It's Christmas Eve.
No, for the first time in a long time, I've bought Christmas presents before Christmas Eve. Record territory for me.
What sort of tackle did you get?
Yeah. Fee's getting a lovely fishing reel, I can tell you. No, I shouldn't tell everyone I bought her a bike, but she's going to love it. Yeah. But anyway, no, it's all good. So, but it's a good time of year. People are now starting to talk about their holidays, and we might talk about a few of you know, the destinations that people may be going to in the next few weeks. Try and cover those in the next couple of weeks of Talking Fishing. So
there's a lot of people cruising away, and hopefully the weather gets a bit better.
Absolutely, boys. Time to check what's being caught by the people at home. Let's have a look at some of the catches of the week. And the first one, Donny Duvet, a beautiful calamari off the Mount Martha Rocks ads. down your way.
That's a big calamari.
That's not a bad model off the rocks.
There. You'll love that. We're accustomed to seeing them probably half that size, but this is going to get, well, the rocks at Mount Martha's, as reliable as anywhere to catch a squid land-based. And we're going to see a lot of reports come from here in the next few weeks, because as more people flood down to the peninsula, they'll get on the rocks. Everything's accessible. It's very easy fishing. As you can see in the background of that photo, it was dead calm. No better way to spend a calm, balmy afternoon than getting a few colours off the rocks. Yeah,
and a lot of those bigger models you see land-based are usually Flinders Pier, so
that's right.
It's good to see something like that. Kyle Tapscott got a beautiful 80-centimetre Murray cod from the Goulburn River near Shepparton, just near your doorstep. Trelly?
Yeah, that's a nice looking cod, that one, isn't it?
That is a nice, obviously a couple of the boys got their boats out there, and that's a cracker, 80 centimetres. You'd be pretty happy with that?
You'd be very happy with that. Yeah, but it's not uncommon, it really isn't. Like, all the guys that are coming in, they're catching their 45 to 50 centimetre cod, and you're seeing quite a few 75s, 80s coming in. Put back in. Yeah, it's good.
I talked about the variety in the opener, and this one's just the same. Tony Blackford, a gummy shark in the western entrance of Westernport, and Blackie's just been out there doing it.
Getting it done. He sneaks out there with his son Marlon, who can catch a fish just as good as any of us. But no, he's been sitting down the western entrance there and got himself into a nice gummy shark. I know he spends a few hours on the water, so he knows where they're at.
Yeah, beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful fish. Straight back in the water after that pick. Travis Carlier, a 4.5 kilo snapper off Clifton Springs. It was his first fish for the season, and he only went 400 metres from the boat ramp. How's that?
There you go. He's probably watched 400 boats cruise straight past.
Yeah, exactly. Just on that'll do. Cracker of a fish. You'd be pretty happy with that to open up the account.
Yeah, definitely. First one for the season in a pretty tough season, I must say. So you'd be very happy with that.
Yeah,
definitely. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Let's have a look at some more Murray cod. Brody Pearce, a 92 centimetre Murray cod at Deniliquin. He's, I think it's his cousin who might be a little bit older that took the photo, but boy, that's nice. I think, Trolley, that came from a bardy grub.
Could have. Yeah, he's looking pretty happy, that fish, isn't he?
Yeah. Kid's looking pretty happy too.
I think he's going, geez, I'm glad I'm oversized.
He's going back.
I wouldn't be swimming around
he did a couple of triple somersaults before he went back, but anyway. Trelly, fishing with a bardy grub like that, so what, just whack it on the hook, throw it out? Is that what you do?
Oh, much more technical than that, Dave. Come on, we're sophisticated.
Oh, come on, tell us the science of using a
You put a sinker on it.
Tell us the science of using a bardy grub to catch a cod that size.
Well, you've got to actually rig them properly. I like to have them on a running sinker.
Yep.
I like to put the bardy grub on starting from the tail, and then working its way down and then putting it through the head of the bardy grub, because it's hard, and that allows it, or that makes it sit up on the hook.
Yeah, okay.
Nice and even. So then running sinker, so you can have it short or long. Cast it in right in front of your structure and your float.
Yeah, okay.
Wait for them to come out.
Let's have a look at the last catch of the week. Chris Leckie, 64 centimetre Murray cod up at Deniliquin as well. Like I said, Brody's cousin was taking the photos, and I'd be happy with that. That's a beautiful fish.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's right in the middle of your slot limit, and that's a good size. It's a really good eating size fish.
Is it? Yeah. Yep, how would you do that one, Trelly? Something like that?
I'd probably fillet it and take the skin off.
Yep.
And I like to cut it like really, really thin.
Yep.
And
so a fillet on that size fish, how thick?
It's probably 3.5 to 4 centimetres at its thickest point.
Yep.
And then I'd like to cut them into probably 1 centimetre thicknesses as you fillet it.
Yep.
And really, a lot of people overdo fish. I mean, just a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, and then just pop it in the pan and just let it cook, and just get natural taste to your fish.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, nice.
Lovely.
Can you bake them like hot? Is a cod something you can bake whole as well?
Yeah, you can do that. Usually cut the head and tail off to sort of fit them in.
Yeah.
In the middle, you might put a little bit of lemon or a little bit of orange, a little bit of soy sauce, a couple of big knobs of butter or a little bit of olive oil instead of your butter, and just roll them up in a tin foil and let them bake.
The other thing is they take a great photo, don't they, a cod?
Yeah,
I reckon they got that greenness about them. They're very, very different, and they take a great photo.
Yeah, big puppy eyes on them.
Yeah, no, pretty good. If you'd like to send in your pick of catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing picture info at ifish.com.au.
And coming up on Talking Fishing Product of the Week, and wow, have we got some very exciting footage to show you from near the Rye Pier right after this.
Talking fishing. Talking talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And product of the week, boys. Sinkers ain't sinkers anymore. Gone are the days where you just have a funny bit of lead and it's not set up right and you just shove the line through the hole. Sinkers are a little bit more complicated, and there's usually a sinker for every application now, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right, and I think that's probably the biggest thing coming into sinkers now. Like you said, no longer is it a bit of lead with a swivel jammed at the top or a hole in the middle where your line runs through. But
the standard, the most popular by far would have to be the bomb sinker now.
Yeah, for us on the peninsula, and I know down in Cranbourne as well, Dave. Bomb sinkers. These are our snapper, Western Port, high tidal sort of areas. Yeah. These are our go-to. They cast well. They make them in anything from half an ounce up to 32 ounce.
Well, you can see the big one there on the screen at home is a 16 ounce, and they go to double that, don't they? We make the biggest, I think, is a 32 ounce.
32 ounce.
Down to half ounce.
It's a serious.
But the beauty is, Adam, gone are the days also where you have a sinker on, and that's what you're going to put up with throughout the whole tide.
Oh, yeah.
So you can actually, because they have the swivel on them now, use a slider rig or whatever rig you're using. Yep. It might be just a loop, like paternoster type or whatever, and you can change them as the tide increases or decreases, unless you're fishing the Goulburn River, Trelly, where you just stick to the one for the tide flow, wouldn't you?
That was one single tide flow.
Yes.
We don't have to change too much.
No, but it is the beauty of the old bomb sinker.
And the swivels are important. Without those swivels, in the high current situations, they'll spin and twist up your line. So that is important.
And
definitely.
And all swivels aren't swivels either, because I've seen plenty of them break, snap, not embedded in the lead properly.
Yeah,
they're just quality manufacture and pretty good. What's the second one? The whiting torpedo.
The whiting torpedo. Again, it's probably, I guess, a stretched out bomb sinker. It's a little bit different. Now, these are designed to be fishing around weed. It's something that's quite, I guess, snag resistant, or it's not going to get caught up in the weed at all. Quite thin, exactly the same principle as the bomb sinker. Swivel at the top, so for any tide, it's not going to spin and carry on and really make a mess of your rigs.
Is that one made to sort of like at a length of line that makes it hop along the bottom rather than sort of just drag along the bottom? That's style.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's just so that as you are dragging them through, you come across that patch of weed which you want to be in for your whiting. Yeah, it's not going to find that thick bit of seagrass and hold
hang on and lose your sinker.
With a big surface area that you get in a bomb sinker, you can tend to catch a little bit of weed. Yeah. It'll wrap up around the swivel and really hold onto the sinker. Whereas with the torpedo, it can just get pulled through that weed a hell of a lot.
And you're generally fishing pretty light line, Trelly, too. So that profile sinker light line, it's really good.
Direct contact with your rod tip. So
absolutely, yeah. And correct me if I'm right, they go. Correct me if I'm wrong. They go down to half an ounce, I think. It's a pretty small.
Through to 2.5 ounce or 3 ounce. I think that one is. 3 ounce. So. Predominantly sell them for whiting, but all the bream fishermen or anything like that. Yeah.
The next one coming into season very, very shortly, a yellowtail kingfish.
Yes, these are.
And this is what you need for trolling.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of guys make their lead lines out of these, and they basically run a series of these ginormous barrel sinkers, I guess you call them. Everything about them is traditional. The line runs straight through. We rig them in the store. Like this, so it's got a snap swivel at the bottom. Yeah. Just makes it a little bit easier to connect a few in a row. It's just to get your squid strip or your livey or whatever you want to put on the end, just getting it down to depth. Yeah. Especially down the rip places like that.
I'll use it at Montague Island, and we might be either slow trolling or just having them out the back of the boat. But you can click your snap off your main line, which might be on a double or something like that, onto that, and then your leader onto the snap at the back. And off you go. It's just a neat sinker. It actually comes on board the boat quite easy. You can grab hold of it, and use it as a bit of a handle if you need to, to help trace the fish and so forth. So
and it's, like I said, for trolling, it's perfect. Having that sort of streamline, you're not going to create a lot of drag. So your live baits, even your dead baits running squid strips and things like that, they are actually going to swim and they're going to act naturally. And as you know, Dave, you put anything down there that's unnatural, and it can be very surprising at how quickly the fish won't eat it.
Yeah, any rule of thumb, 2 sinkers, 4 metres of depth 3 sinkers, 6 metres depth?
Not really that I
depends
know
on
of.
tide,
Yeah,
yeah.
It depends on tide depth. They also make these in a few different sizes. I
okay.
think from memory this is an 8 ounce.
If you see a
but you can buy
traditional
6
lead
ounce.
line though, Charlie, that guys have made up, you might have one of those every half metre or metre.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
people actually use them almost as a handle to pull in a fish, and you're just towing it around. And there's some big commercial type lead lines around that they tow liveys around for the kingfish.
Yeah, well, I saw one today that was 32 ounce or something. It was huge. It was good 30 centimetres long, and so you wouldn't have to worry about connecting a few together. You just put that bad boy on, and away you go.
Yeah, the old star
The
sinker.
old star sinker. I reckon this would almost have to be a close number 2 to the bomb as far as the most popular sinkers go, because this is the land-based fisherman's dream.
Yep.
Probably better for your beach fishermen rather than your rock fishermen, because I tell you what, once the top of that star gets embedded in between a couple of rocks, you're not getting it back.
Yeah, or sand.
Exactly. Well, that's the point of the sinker. This on the beach when you've got a bit of turbulence and that. It's I just got that. The point.
There's 4 points to that actually.
That'll sit itself in the sand quite well and just keep your bait anchored so you're not getting carried away
And they
with
can
the
paint
current.
them up and hang them off their Christmas tree as decoration.
You probably could too. Yeah,
until
until the
couple hanging off your ears there.
off your ear. Yeah. I bet you've probably got some on your Christmas tree, Charlie. But anyway, all good. The next one is a little bit different again.
Yeah, this is something that's coming into fashion a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the old deep drop.
The old deep drop sinker, which is just a massive hunk of.
There's a million lines with that sinker, isn't there? Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Now I brought a small one in tonight.
Yeah, that's
so
right, yeah.
they actually go up to, I reckon, 2.5 kilos.
Yep.
So Charlie, imagine going offshore. You're fishing for your harp hookers and so forth in maybe 200 metres of water. That's what you put on the end of your line. Get it down there really quick.
Drop that into your snag, mate. That'll wet the cod up pretty
Electric
quick.
reels or just big egg beaters?
Oh, most people are using electric reels these days.
Yeah.
It really has become a bit of a. It's not a fad because it's something that's been around forever. But I think with the amount of people. I told you it was hard to work with Charlie, animals and kids. People go down to Portland, they're fishing for tuna all day long, they get a bit bored with tuna, and there is so many good species coming off the bottom down that western, well, not just the western part of our state, because they're all around the state.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
can find that 100+ metres of water.
Yeah. And I think
there's some good fish, and you need to have the gear for it.
Yeah, and I guess not necessarily a fad. More than anything, it's probably an education type thing. We're only starting to realise now that the fish we can actually catch in these areas, like I said, Portland with the blue eye, it's almost getting as big as the bluefin. People try and knock over their bag of bluefin in the first half an hour so they can go and drop a couple of big chunks of squid or chunks of tuna to the bottom looking for a blue eye, because they're the best eating fish in the ocean. So
absolutely,
it's like I said, that is a small one. They make them up to 2.5 kilos. I'm sure they make them even bigger, and again designed with the point at the bottom, so it travels through the water column quite quickly and easily. So there you have it, Dave. Sinkers aren't sinkers.
No.
And that's only just a few.
That's only half the range, but you can only bring so much lead into the studio.
Exactly
so,
right.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, I want to ask you a question about trout fishing, and in particular fly fishing. Is it still as popular as it used to be? I mean, you've been in the game a long, long time.
Yeah, it's starting to have a comeback.
Is it?
Really, because we've had a drought for 9 years. It's
Yeah.
over the last couple of years, and it really did. A lot of people dropped off trout fishing.
Yeah.
We had a few TV shows that were really, really popular, which promoted it, and it was very, very popular. But it also is perceived as a bit of a, pipe and tweed hat type of, old chap type of fishing style. But
Your
kids
type of style,
can do
isn't it, Trout?
Yeah, no, not my type of style. And look, kids 10, 12, you give them a fishing rod and show them a couple of techniques, and away they go. And it's just, it's great. And we can do it all saltwater too. It's not just freshwater and trout. That kind of thing. It's great.
I had a classic gentleman I know that is right into his fly fishing and that, and he was in today buying a smoker from work, and one of the young guys comes and says, "Hey, there's a bloke out there that wants to know about smokers." I thought, I'll go out and have a chat to him, and I instantly recognised him as the former Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser. And Malcolm and Tammy were in today, and they, Tammy goes, "Malcolm, this is your Christmas present," and Malcolm goes, "Tammy, it's yours too." And they were just a beautiful couple. He wants to smoke his trout. He wants to go and get some Atlantic salmon and things, and just do a bit on his own. And it's great. Like, fishing is more than just going out and slaughtering a snapper or getting a cod at the Cod Classic, And how old would he be? He'd have to be into his 80s, I would have thought.
Yeah, he's on a bit.
But look, I've got to say, Tammy was looking very, very fine, for age, and but isn't it nice to see a lovely couple like that wander in, they love their fishing, and they want to start smoking their fish?
Well, enjoying the finer points of fishing. It's about, getting out to these untouched, clear waters, catching a few trout, taking them back to the camp, or back to the cabin, into the smoker, and away you go. It sounds.
They're no different to a lot of people, are they?
No.
And
although someone did point out,
out
at work today that if it was a former president like George Bush, the SWAT would have been in to clear the shop first. A team of cars would have rocked up and all that. Old Malcolm and Tammy, they're just cruising through Cranny.
Yeah, to pick up a smoker to catch a few trout.
Wheels on their car when they went out?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I think they're in the Hillman Hunter. No, not really. I grabbed the young blokes after it, and I said, "Now, guys, do you realise who that was?" And they said, "No idea." I think one of them whispered Uncle Arthur or something like that. They actually had no idea, And anyway, a bit of fun, but it just made me think how good fishing is for families, for lovely couples like that.
Obviously, you never forget how to fish, and you never forget how much pleasure and enjoyment fishing brings to someone's life as well. So it's the ultimate way to relax. I reckon.
And you don't have to be that physically fit either. Later on in life, it's something that you can do. Go and sit on a bank and do that sort of stuff. Is smoking fish big up your way? Can you smoke a cod?
You can.
Yeah.
Yep, you can.
I've heard of smoked cod, but I think it comes from South Africa or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't actually perfected the smoking of fish, so I'm not going to demonstrate that like
You haven't? You haven't?
Oh, I tend to end up with a fire extinguisher, but...
A few people reckon you're still trying to get knife sharpening right too, but anyway.
But I'd love you to demonstrate some...
smoking?
Absolutely, Dave.
It's easy these days. There's these beautiful units. You put your fish in, you drop the biscuits in, push the button, and walk away. That's my type of smoking.
And I've got that down pat. Just read the instructions, and it is that easy for people at home that don't know. You grab these new digital smokers, and you virtually follow the times and everything in the instructions. I haven't smoked a fish for about 3 months now, but it was still cold enough at night that I set it when I went to bed. It ran for about 3 hours, and you just leave it. Go out in the back deck in the morning and grab the fish out. And
there's a bit of an art form to it too, with all the brining, and there's all these ways to, I guess, prepare the fish before you actually put it in the smoker, which I had absolutely no idea about, and still don't. I thought you just grab the fish and put it on a meat hook and put it in the thing and let it do its thing.
It's almost like making wine, isn't it? You can put wood in the water and
do all
styles of wood and all that type of thing.
Now, boys, got something pretty special to show. 2 Sundays ago, there was a group of divers off the Rye Peer, just to change the subject, and they had the GoPro cameras on, just filming what was around, and have a look what they came across. I think we're ready to roll. So you have a look over here. I know there's a bit of words on the screen, but have a look at this. A school of yellowtail kingfish just swam by. This is off Rye Peer 2 Sundays ago, and it took a little bit of time for this footage to be put around the social media, and certainly it's up on YouTube and all that sort of stuff, but it's pretty damn exciting. Rye Peer.
Yeah.
We might talk about that very, very shortly after the break, but up next, fisheries news and plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now it's time for the news, the fisheries news. Sounds a bit fishy to me.
And a bit of fisheries news around the place, boys, and I tell you what, it never ceases to amaze me, some of the things that people do illegally in fishing. There's, it's been big, I guess, the abalone thing for probably 10 years. Murray cod, southern bluefin tuna have been a little bit, on the illegal take, and I think they're priority species, I think they call them, so there's heavier penalties for those. And it just seems the latest fad is pippies now, and pippies are worth a bit in the markets. That a man caught with 10 times, and I think we've got a picture of his take. A man caught 10 times the pippy limit at Venus Bay. Melbourne man was allegedly found last week with more than 10 times the daily pippy catch limit at number 1 beach. Fisheries officers from DEPI allegedly found the man in possession of 21 litres of pippies, 19 litres more than the daily catch limit of 2 litres. Why do they do it? Have you ever, I'll throw it to you, Charlie. Have you ever eaten a pippy?
No.
You haven't? You don't know what you're missing out on.
Really?
Yeah, don't do it live in the studio or anything straight at the bait freezer. But pippies are absolutely beautiful. In a pasta, like I love them. And you'll get them in a good restaurant now. Can't remember what they call them in the Greek and Italian restaurants. John
might have been
cockles.
No, they've got Starts with a G. Can't remember. Anyone at home wants to Kramer's mailbag, write into us and tell us what a pippy is. There's a word. But I've got some other information. Port Phillip Bay intertidal zone in Victoria. You're not allowed to take pippies at all. Then from Cape Liptrap Coastal Park, which is between Point Smythe and Arch Rock, including Venus Bay, you're only allowed to take 2 litres or half a litre if they're shucked. And then other Victorian waters, you're allowed 5 litres or 1 litre if shucked. So this guy...
How easy are they to get? Like, is there heaps of them around? Is it like a... I know...
Well, Venus Bay is a bit of a hot spot.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Venus Bay we hear of every year.
There's a lot of them, and a lot of people go there to get them. That's why they've got a tighter bag limit at that spot compared to the rest of Victoria. But yeah, they're not, if you can find them, they're quite easy. They call it the pippy shuffle. I won't get up and do it because the camera's not adjusted right, but you virtually twist your feet and dig down in the sand. Now, it's illegal to use a digging instrument, so you're only allowed to use your hands or your feet. It's a bit like going back to the caveman days, you know, and you dig them up and they're absolutely beautiful, you know. I mean, obviously they're commercially harvested using a bit of equipment, but you know, it's 21 litres. How do people get away with that?
That's food or money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
Another bit of fisheries news, just a reminder, the recreational fishing app for smartphones. If you haven't got it, you're mad. It's a state government initiative. It's got all the rules, regulations, bag limits, size limits. You can even buy a licence on that app. And just a reminder, Mark Ainsworth sent it out on the Fishy Facts this week that if you get it, it's all you need in your boat. You know, you obviously want a sticker or something, some sort of ruler, but you know, people still ring us, don't they? They ring the shops. What's the bag limit on flathead? What's the size? It's all on your app. Everyone's got a smartphone.
Old mate there with his pippies should have made a phone call or got the app on his smartphone because he's in a bit of strife now, I think.
I'm tipping he didn't have a smartphone. He had a dumb phone. Regulatory uniform for fisheries officers has changed. They're all in new uniforms. You'll see that. Get on their website if you want to have a look at them, but quite smart. And river blackfish, another reminder. Victorian freshwater anglers are reminded that the closed season for river blackfish commenced on the 1st of September and it continues until the 31st of December 2014 inclusive. The closed season only applies south of the Great Divide. So there you go.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have eaten them.
Are they all right?
Yeah, great.
Blackfish, where do you get them?
Yeah, we usually get them like, they're freshwater. Some of the really unknown sort of little creeks and things that you just don't think there's actually fish in them.
Yeah, okay.
They used to be quite a lot around, but
so in still water or running water?
Running water.
Yeah, okay.
Running water. To still water as far as rainfall, that type of thing goes. Yeah. But, and they're really sweet. They're white flesh, but they're really, really sweet.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Boys, back on the kingies. Sorry, we had to go to a break before, but that bit of footage of the kingfish, a school of 20 fish, over a metre long, and we actually started talking about that on 3AW on Friday night, and the guy who took the footage rang in. We had no idea who he was. He actually rang in, and what a passionate person about
the bay in general.
About the bay in general, and he spoke truly of how good the bay is today compared to all the years that he's been diving, and I think he'd been diving 30 odd years or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm a bit older than you. The memory, sea pics. I think he had a website or I don't know. He had something. Try Sea Pics. David is his first name. Can't remember. Is David Bryant? I might be.
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Testing the memory now. But anyway, he's filming away. They're filming a whole lot of things on the bottom there around Rye Peer, and all of a sudden these kingfish come past, and then about 2 minutes later they swim past again. That just gets me excited.
I reckon there's a few anglers out there now shuffling around in the tackle box for a couple of live bait rigs and a couple of poppers, I think.
Yeah.
Right here will have people everywhere.
They take poppers, those kingfish like that?
Oh, if they're working the surface,
if they're up and about. If they're up and about. Definitely.
Kingfish are funny, Charlie. Like, I remember years and years ago, we used to go to Montague Island and we would always troll for the last kilometre or so before we got to the island. And then you just look for the birds and they'd always be on the surface. I haven't seen them on the surface there. Now I'm only there in January, but I haven't seen on the surface, I reckon, for 5 or 6 years. I don't know what it is.
So they're another species that have gone through a bit of an interesting patch over the last few years. They're either there or they're not. You know what I mean? All the regular migration patterns or the places where you get them. And Eden's another one where a lot of people flood to sort of, next year looking for the kingies. And they either,
they're there or not.
Yeah, the last few years have been pretty lean. And obviously Montague Island's another big one at Narooma, Dave, which you go to quite frequently. But it's one of those things. They sort of thinned out a little bit up there and turned up at the heads, and It's good for us.
I think I've said it before. My mates last year in January, and I didn't go last year, but they did not catch a kingfish at all in the school holidays last year. Not one fish. So
yeah. Luke and I went in April or May,
and
they were everywhere.
Yeah.
So
they're there now though.
Yeah.
In fact, a good mate of mine, Stan, who runs the newspaper up there, he was out and he had the camera underwater. He had one on. Put the camera underwater, and there was just a school of 30 or 40 kingfish, following it up to the boat. So it is exciting times. But when they're in Rye like that,
that
gets me excited. I think it'll only be a matter of time. People around Cape Shank, the Heads, all those sort of places, and just absolutely fantastic news. Kramer's mailbag up next, and we talk about some of the places you might head for Christmas holidays. See you after this.
Talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And a bit of Kramer's mailbag, boys. I tell you, there's always some good ones in amongst here. I'm not going to give the first person's name away because her brother might be watching, but Sharon from Geelong writes to us, I want to get my brother a fishy Christmas present. He lives over at Rosebud and he loves his squid fishing. What do I get him? Boys, what do you get someone who loves their squid?
Oh, I'd say, 25-foot boat?
God, it's actually.
Nice.
What about one of those squid pouches and fill it with squid jigs?
Well, the amount of squid products on the market now huge. There's squid reels, rods, line. But that's a great idea, though.
But there are so many people you go fishing with, right? And they still keep their squid jigs in amongst their tackle box and it gets in the finger. They make purpose-built squid pouches now that you slide the hooks down and they're very, very safe. You zip them up and they all stay in there. And
little squid spike.
Yeah, squid spike. That's
something like that. Yep. And the old squid net, one of those silicon type.
That's right. And by the footage of those kingies, a live bait rig.
Oh, yeah. Well, he might only have a tinny. He'll be off the pier for his...
Done a 25-foot boat.
Anyway, John Peaking from Clayton South, he writes, what's the best way to keep bass yabbies alive?
Aeration.
Aerator.
Yeah.
I think those things are just total aeration.
Yep.
Yeah, you just got to keep them really...
And
keep
topping
the sun.
it up. And keep topping it up with...
In this day, in fact, we might do a product of the week in a couple of weeks on that. That you get a live... These days, you can buy a live bait bucket, if you like, and they have a mesh...
Yeah, it's almost like a built-in sieve almost.
Yeah. So I use them when I go up to Narooma because we've got bass yabbies all out the front there.
It's like a salad spinner upside down.
Yeah, basically.
A what?
Salad spinner.
A salad spinner.
They are. They're like, you got the salad in the spinner. Yeah. But no, it don't look like.
So you pull that out, run down the water, fresh bucket of water. I reckon you've got to change your water too. Probably every 4 hours, every 5 hours.
Yeah.
If
Top it up
plus the aerator
and
keep them out of the sun. That's probably the
I
best
don't
thing.
know whether bass yabbies could actually drown them. Sometimes, like with yabbies, you only need a little bit of water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I keep them in a big bucket.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. All right, hi guys, I'm loving the show. I've got a question that you may be able to help us with. Sorry, this is from Tim French. He's from Balnarring Fishing Club. Our club members are looking for fishing competitions in Victoria that we could enter. Are there any websites that are dedicated to comps? Well, not that I know of,
Great
Tim.
question.
Yeah, but what I did remember is that in this magazine, Victorian Fishing Monthly, there is a tournaments page, and I'm not sure if the people at home can pick that up, but there's actually a down the bottom there, I'm going to try and do this reverse to the camera. Down here there's a tournament calendar, and I don't know, this time of year there's only 3 tournaments listed there, but normally there's quite a few, so I guess leading up to the snapper season and that there'd be a lot more. But that's the only place I know of, boys, that you can actually get a list of all the tournaments.
Apart from the majors, you don't hear too much about a lot of the tournaments going on.
Your local tackle shops normally have some of the pamphlets on their desks, like we do, as far as tournaments coming up, and there's always entry forms and things like that.
The last one, guys, comes from Chris Leckie, who we had in Catch of the Week earlier on. I just want to read a bit. Love the show, never miss an episode. Just thought I would send you some pics of our cod opening trip. We had an absolute cracker couple of days in the Denilican area with 36 cod landed between our family over 2 days. Charlie, and a lot of people write in, they do, and we can't read out all the Kramer's mailbag or the general email we get, but a lot of people write in that they're inspired by some of the talk we do have around the cod, the yellow belly, the trout and all that freshwater content. Not enough fishing shows do it, and I know Paul always gets that. Now, when are you doing more cod? When are you getting more trout? And he does try and do quite a lot. But you know, there's a few people that are inspired to get out and get them, and I mean, we've shown some really good pics today too, and it's good stuff, isn't it?
I think it's just easy. I mean, you don't have to have a big boat.
Yeah.
It's the cost of.
It's only squidding that you need a 25.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, from your sister. But you don't need, you don't need a lot of resources. You don't need a lot of money to fish in general, and especially when it comes to freshwater fishing. I mean, you've got a lot of access. The Murray River up at Deniliquin on the Edwards River. There's a lot of reserves you can get to and just walk the banks, and you get to look at all the wildlife, the cockatoos and water rats and all that type of thing, and have a bit of a fish. So, but there's been a lot of feedback as far as catches of that size.
Yep.
30, 40 cod being caught within a group of people with 2 or 3 keepers, or 5 or 6 keepers and that type of thing. It's not uncommon at the moment. It's really, really, really good.
Kramer's Mailbag, if you'd like to write to me or these blokes, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Boys, we said we'd talk about some of the favourite destinations people go for their Christmas holidays. Where do you reckon would be the #1 place in the state? If you were to name one place, where would the population go to, for their Christmas holidays? #1. Go on.
#1?
Not to put you on the spot, because I didn't tell you I was going to ask
where I'd go? Or
No, where the general population goes. Where do people go?
The Mornington Peninsula.
You reckon the peninsula? Yeah.
Would be up there.
The population would have to expand a couple of 100,000 people, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Trelly, where do you reckon?
The Murray River, absolutely, hands down. The Murray River. it's the length of the border.
Yeah.
Goes for hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Catch fish in every 7 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's why they hide around every log.
Yep.
Fish.
So all those towns, Echuca, Swan Hill, Mildura, I even go back like to Albury, Mulwala, all packed at Christmas?
All packed at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's, and those type of people, like I was saying before, it's the economics of going out and fishing is just in the reach of nearly everybody. It's really good.
Yeah.
I suppose, and being, so you get the scenery. It's not just, you know what I mean? You're out and about, you're out in the country, out in the wildlife, doing that sort of thing.
Mm.
Whereas it's kind of similar but different on the peninsula. Everyone is, like they do on the Murray, is participating, not just the fishing, but all the water sports. The jet skiers are out, the guys, the kids are on the biscuits getting towed around by their old man in the boat, and there's just heaps going on, plus all the eateries and the cafes and bits and pieces on the peninsula, everything just
There's
loads
so many
up.
stories you could tell about the peninsula too. My accountant, Michael, and I don't know if he's watching, but he lives local, but he has had his caravan down there for 50-something years on the Rosebud foreshore.
Wow.
And, he's got a magnificent setup, I can tell you. Yeah. But that's the popularity of the generation after generation have been going down there. A lot of them hang on to their same sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Traditional camping.
Yeah, definitely. And we probably find the Gippsland Lakes is probably another little smoky. It probably doesn't get spoken about
have
as
to be the
much
third
as,
choice, I reckon.
Yeah, because a lot of those Gippsland, Malakuta, huge. They've just built an offshore ramp down there as well.
Yeah.
Plus Lake Tyers, it's fishing the best it's fished ever. And I know it's more than just fishing, but even small places like Tamboon, where they're on this quiet little inlet where you can camp and do the traditional camping style of things. It's.
Have you ever been to Malakuta during a busy period?
No, you may as well go to Melbourne. There'll be less people.
Yeah, I've been at Easter, but I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Malakuta, meeting with fisheries when I did a bit of work with fisheries, and you'd go there and it's a ghost town.
Yeah,
but it's actually a very big town, and the caravan park is huge. It's a massive waterway, and just the people that get there, at Christmas time, and again, traditional, same site, same people, same setup, and they do the same thing every year, and it's just part of the Australian culture, isn't it, to go to places like that for Christmas holidays?
Definitely.
And once you get in the water too, I mean, you sort of have so many people on land, get out in the water, have a look around and say, oh, well, there's a boat way over there and a boat way over there, so it's not like as if it's on land, the same thing on water. Yeah,
exactly, anyone go to Shepparton for Christmas holidays, Trelly? Caravan pack out?
Yeah, there's a few come to Shepparton, but like I say, we as a town, unfortunately, we turn our back on the river a little bit, as opposed to Echuca and Mildura, and there's a message in that for the Shepparton City Council. Yeah. But there's a few people come. We got some. They stock the lake in the middle of Shep. With fish. Coming up
what sort of trout?
Holidays.
Sorry, what sort of trout? What sort of fish? Trout?
Trout and yellow belly.
Do they really?
Yeah. Cool. So and there's a few redfin in there and. few locals sneak a few other things in there, like cod bits and pieces.
Yabbies?
Yeah, it's a bit too weedy for yabbies.
Yeah.
But they catch some nice fish there, but yeah.
For the people at home, hopefully we've mentioned a few places that you're going, and what we'll do over the next couple of weeks is actually get some fishing reports from some of those areas. But coming up next on Talking Fishing, this week's hotspots and what's coming up on C31 Fishing right after this.
Talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Hello, Richie Minnow here. It's now time for this week's Fishing Hotspots on Talking Fishing. Marvellous.
I reckon we should get Richie Minnow on the couch one day. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
The voice behind Richie Minnow.
Couldn't hold his water.
Hotspot boys, and I tell you what, the hotspots are just starting to spread out a little bit and a bit of variety now. The first one's Mount Eliza, and I know this the snapper have just been a little bit finicky still. A lot of frustrated anglers out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Mount Eliza's got to be one of those spots. It's not far out to about the 18-metre mark, quite easy to fish, and there seems to be a bit of a congregation around that 18 to 20-metre mark at the moment, doesn't there?
I'd head in that direction.
Yeah.
It has been hard work. We're by no means, I guess, are we saying you're going to go there and guarantee to snapper? It has been one of those type of seasons, but a lot of the reports we are getting coming from that Mount Eliza area, and they said go wide now.
Yeah.
Treat it like we are late in the season.
As the other thing is, morning bites on today, afternoon bites on tomorrow.
You know what?
Drives you
forget
nuts.
Forget it. I think
Just
it's
go
too,
when you got to go.
That's right. It's too up and down for this part of the season. Just go. If you can try and time it with a tide change, I reckon you're pretty well as good a chance as any.
Yeah.
But don't be too fussed.
Yeah, the guys that get a bit of feedback as far as bait balls with your fishing for snapper, and then down rigging lures around those bait balls, trying to get it as off the bottom. Like
I think the guys that are catching a lot of fish are doing that. I saw a photo just on that, and I know we've got to move on to hotspots, but I saw a photo from the Tea Tree comp. Jason Portelli showed us. They had the squid lights on the back of their boat, so under the water lights. They put them on, and they saw all these fish, and they thought, garfish. They actually got a net out. They were pilchards.
Pilchards, yeah. It's
amazing
crazy.
The amount of pilchards that are in the bay.
It's crazy.
Second hotspot, the Pinnis Channel off Mud Island. Now, when I say the channel, I'm talking about the drop-off on the northern end of the channel. So if you know that channel at all, it runs down the eastern side of Mud Island, and the drops off into the deep bay of 18, 20 metres. A lot of snapper being caught around there too.
Okay, is the Pinnis Channel normally a bit of a whiting?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So what I'm talking about, I mean, I've got Pinnis Channel there, but off the drop-off, into the bay proper, at the end of the Pinnis Channel, there's been a great number of snapper there at the moment.
Awesome.
So the third one, Portsea. There's a few things that have sneaked into Portsea at the moment, and big reports of some big-sized King George whiting.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people fish off the Portsea Pier itself for the whiting. I know that the whiting hang around the boat moorings.
You need that run-out tide,
Yep.
and you fish that side on the western side of the pier with a strong run-out tide, and there are some really, really good sand holes. You've probably got to fish a bit away from the pier. When I say that, maybe even 40 metres from the pier.
Yep.
Cast right out and fish some of those sand holes in between the seaweed beds, and it is absolutely good fishing. But the reports from down at Portsea, all the way down, don't go to the marine park, but all the way down to the quarantine station there, reports of 40-plus centimetre whiting. So. Pippies, fresh squid, if you've got some fresh squid. Let's go over to number 4, the Middle Spit. Western Port, whiting capital at the moment, isn't it?
Yep, it's just the whiting beacon of Western Port.
Absolutely.
Get up on the banks there, anywhere between 1.5 metres and 4 or 5 metres of water. Just have a play around. Keep moving if you haven't got fish straight away. Give it 15, 20 minutes. Let a bit of anchor rope out. Another 30 metres back. As soon as you find a patch of fish, you have no trouble getting a bag.
We're talking to Steve Johnson last Friday morning, and he had 40 whiting on before 8 o'clock in the morning, and just very, very productive. And he said if you want to get the bigger ones, go to that 6 to 8 metres in depth, and there's certainly some bigger ones sitting off the Middle Spit. Hotspot number 5, the western entrance to Western Port. We had Blackie on earlier on with that nice gummy. It is certainly a great time for gummy sharks right now in the western entrance.
Yeah, we're just on the back of a full moon.
Yep, full moon was a couple of days ago.
Yep. So generally this is prime time for the gummies. I reckon you'll start to find some good snapper schooling up down the western entrance too as we get later into the season. So don't write that off either. But I think fresh bait if you're going to fish for the gummies down there,
Yeah.
and even your chance at a snapper, it's got to be fresh squid, it's got to be fresh salmon, fresh trevally, so
Yep.
nice,
Yakka
fresh,
chunks
chunky
sometimes.
bait. Yep,
Those
definitely.
big sinkers you're looking at.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
yeah, you'll need
absolutely. You
bigger
need
than
some of
that
those
16 we
Bigger
had
than
there.
those ones you were showing earlier on.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
big
okay.
16 ounces and that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you need something nice and
Yep.
heavy. Get in, you're
Whole
in
bottom.
real
Yep, definitely.
tidal flow, and you want to be able to hold that bait still. You know, so absolutely. And number 6, some very, very good reports from down the old Anderson's Inlet.
Andos.
Hey, down at Inverloch. Anyone that knows it, a bit of a tip. Get down there before the Christmas holidays start because they talk about a place that the population just explodes. You cannot move in Anderson's, or sorry, you cannot move in Inverloch.
Yeah, that's right.
After the Christmas holidays start, you know, so you've probably got a couple of weeks to get down there, and some very good reports of King George whiting, salmon, mullet, and flathead all in the inlet. Plenty of good areas to cast from the bank too. So I'm not talking boats, I'm talking from the bank,
Yep.
land-based. You can get some very nice King George whiting down there.
Yeah, so it drops off, from memory, it's been a few years since I've been there, but it drops off quite steep from the bank straight away. Hence why
It
you get
does.
those good flathead catches, and
Yeah.
the whiting can sit really close to the bank because they've got that nice little drop. The salmon are always patrolling through there too. So have a couple
Yeah.
of little metal slices in the tackle box and be ready for them to pop up at any stage.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing is be prepared for down there because, and the other thing is at night, you'll get gummies coming
Yeah,
through.
definitely. A lot of people sort of say, oh, it looks as though we should get gummies here. A really nice surf beach down the entrance coming into the nice, calm inlet. My word, you get gummies down there. And I think it's probably one of those little best kept secret type scenarios. Get a nice fresh bait, nice salmon fillet out there over night time, and you'd be pretty surprised. I think.
I'm going to go back to former Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser today because he bought a few other things other than a smoker to smoke his fish, but he bought one of our, what they call a tumbler bag, which is the best scaler bag you could ever think of in the world.
So he loves his whiting fishing, doesn't he?
He loves his whiting fishing. He's got right into it, and he's going out with his 2 grandsons in 2 weeks' time. A lot of 2s in that, I don't know why. But he grabbed the
Richie
scaler
Minnows
bag,
love
and I said to him, Mr. Fraser, you are buying the best scaler bag in the world. You can't get them anymore because they're hand tied by a lovely old lady who's stopped doing
He's
them.
had enough. Yeah.
And you couldn't replicate it. You know, something that's handmade like that, you couldn't replicate it anywhere. We've asked around and you just can't get them replicated. So, but I just said, you're buying something that lasts you a lifetime and you'll never ever clean a King George whiting or a calamari again because that's how good they are. You know, and the tip is...
It might not have to last very long, but you're saying he's pretty old.
Shirley, only you would think of something like that. Tammy might use it for the next 15 years, okay? Just be a bit sentimental towards old Malcolm, but...
Well, he's got 2 grandsons who hit it on.
Yeah, exactly. But in all seriousness, you know, some of those things, and we might even bring one in for Christmas presents next week.
They're a very interesting little thing, and I think until you see one being used or it really is explained in black and white how they work, you really don't appreciate how good they are, because I know I didn't, and I still don't, until we went out that time, Dave, and got a bag of squid and just put it in the wake on the way home and didn't have to clean anything. It was brilliant.
You tow it at 8 knots and it just tumbles on your wake. So just rolling, and just everything comes out so good. I don't know if you've ever eaten the tentacles off a calamari, but I don't mind them every now and then, just a bit of butter and a bit of sweet chili sauce. But it just cleans up all the tentacles as well. So, you know, really, really good. So, boys, it's time to have a look at what's coming up on Channel 31 Fishing, because there's some great fishing shows and you can never get enough of
The home of fishing,
watching.
C31.
It is the home of fishing, and I think after us, you've actually got a couple of shows now. So we used to have Catch and Cook beforehand. It's now after it tonight, 9:30, which is very, very shortly. Catch and Cook followed 10 o'clock. Go Charlie. Savage Seas Adventures. Wednesday, 6:30 in the morning, On the Fly. We talked about fly fishing before, Trelly. It's on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, twice on Saturday. So how good's that? But Thursday, 6:30 in the morning, Australian Fishing Network. So you can always watch a bit before you go to work. 10 o'clock On the Fly. Friday, 6:30 in the morning, Catch and Cook, and 7 a.m. On the Fly. Then Saturday, the big extravaganza. 10 a.m. it starts, On the Fly. 10:30 a.m. Savage Seas Adventures. 11 o'clock Australian Fishing Network. 11:30 that's fishing. 12 noon Catch and Cook, and then it starts in it starts again on Saturday night, 6:30 at night. That's fishing. 7 o'clock On the Fly. 7:30 Australian Fishing Network. So there you go. Plenty of fishing to watch.
Absolutely.
And all those tips like Catch and Cook. I'm going to love it. Because, no, because it does. It gives you some very, very basic recipes that you can do in your own kitchen or while you're camping, and that nothing too flash. It's all done in a couple of minutes, and it's pretty good advice, I reckon.
And with some of the best seafood and freshest seafood that you'll ever get. Everything's accessible.
Yeah.
It's great.
With ingredients you can find locally, which is also another good thing.
Yeah. Do you don't get Channel 31 up in Shepparton, Trolley, but do you get other fishing shows at all?
Do you get colour TV?
Yeah, we've got colour TV. Yeah. And we do get a few fishing shows, but like you say, the cooking ones are really good because you can actually, as a byproduct of what we do as a sport, we take the fish home.
Yeah. Good stuff. Guys, that's it for Talking Fishing. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we talk about Christmas. What's the best fishing present to buy and where's the best places to fish? And we'll give you all the reports of where you're likely to go. But until then, have a great week and enjoy your fishing.
We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing. Talking fishing.